Чекай, чекай, чекай. Сега ме слушате? Окей. Сега,
Да, да.
Кой е гостин?
Тук е Цветан Василев, трябва да представя. Мария, а други не знам дали чекам още някой.
Добро, може со камера да се включиме от презентерът?
Да. Цецо, включи си. Супер.
Да, ето, здравейте.
Дай да те слушниме дали е се окей.
Чувате ли ме добре?
Да, продължи.
Okay. Да, hi everybody. I'm happy to be able to participate here in this conference.
Чакай. Още не сме почнали, сега само проба.
Пробваме, добре. Нали искате да говоря? Чувате ли ме добре вие?
Да, супер.
Да, обаче ще ми трябва права да споделя презентация на...
Има screen sharing rights. Няма.
Да, аз не съм хост в момента.
Чекай.
Да.
Айде. Окей.
Сега трябва да е окей. Пробвай да видиш.
Добре.
Окей.
Да, само че там се гледа.
Окей.
Сега вижда ли се?
Да.
Добре, мога да започна.
Да, само да те представя. Окей, Good morning to the second part of our morning session, and now we're moving further in time, and it is my pleasure to announce the presentation of Professor Cvetan Vasiliv from the Department of Classics to the University of Sofia, who will speak about approaches to the study of post-Byzantine inscriptions. So a slightly different period, but presenting also interesting problems and issues. Cvetan, the floor is yours.
I don't see you, but I hope you can see me. I will talk about approaches in the study of post-Byzantine inscriptions. In the recent years, I am dealing with such inscriptions from the Ottoman period, mainly in Greek language from churches and monuments in Bulgaria and in other Balkan countries. So I have gathered enough material which allows me to compare different types of approaches in the study of inscriptions. So today I will talk about one scientific project which was conducted by the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences in the period 2021 and 2023, and also about another type of project which is still ongoing. It is a project about a digital corpus of post-Byzantine inscriptions, which we conduct together with my dear colleague Dmitry Iliev. First of all, thank you, Mitko, for inviting me to participate in this Prometheus workshop. First, I have to say that traditional research methods and approaches seem to give way to new ones, allowing for greater accessibility and flexibility and analysis of large data sets and creation of toolkits for more adequate processing of the information, as well as for better classification of the results. So let me begin with the first project. This is, you can see here a picture of the National Church Historical and Archaeological Museum in Sofia. In 2023 was the 100th anniversary of this, from the establishment of this museum at the Holy Synod of the Bulgarian Orthodox Church. The aim of a project connected with this anniversary was to document, digitize, and analyze the icons from the iconographic department. So a large part of this department, a large part of this icon collection was never exhibited, studied, and published. So among them, there are many significant examples of medieval art, as well as of Renaissance Bulgarian art. But on the other hand, the icons part of the icons have been included in various publications, from narrowly professional studies to popular science catalogs and brochures. So, but there were many inaccuracies in these publications, including the attribution of the works. So this was a big, huge project involving many art historians and linguists like me, dealing mainly with Greek inscriptions. The icon department holds the largest collection of works of Christian art in Bulgaria, containing more than 9,000 exhibits. Here on this slide, you can see the name of the scientific project, Ivan Goshev's contribution to the formation of the iconography department of the museum, research and documentation of archives and collections. You can see a picture of the main hall of the museum, which is now not open to the public because it is in process of renovation. And on the right side, you can see a picture of the catalog, which was the result of this scientific project. I can show you on my camera here. I hope you can see this catalog. It is very huge, more than 500 pages. And I can say that this is an example of a traditional approach to epigraphy in the field of post-Byzantine inscriptions. Nevertheless, there are many inventions, methodological principles, which I think are modern and suitable for 21st century. It is not so easy to say that the traditional method is on paper and the new one is in internet. It is not so easy to say. The next slide, I'm showing you the content of the catalog. You can see the chronological order of the icons here. There is first part in color and second part in black and white. And I hope this catalog will be available in Skopje also to you somehow, and maybe Mitko in the future you can take this catalog there. These are the numbers of the icons here depicted, double-sided icons, 9 of them, and you can see that the largest part of the collection is icons from the 18th and 19th century, more than 200 Renaissance icons. There are many Russian icons, very valuable icons from the end of the 13th until the end of the 17th century, and so forth. So the first part of the catalog is in color and the second is in black and white for typographical reasons. this was the decision that was made by the editors of the catalog. So you can see on the left page of the catalog as well, of the published catalog, it is a rare type of triptych. This is a plate commemorating names of the living and dead persons, which are usually read during the Divine Liturgy. So this was one problem to solve because the names were not clearly visible. So a rare type of icon and not easy to read. So what can I say about the inscriptions? Usually working, you know very well that working with epigraphic material from icons is a difficult task in the study of museum collections, as they traditionally, the museum collections traditionally contain icons that are not in good condition. And often the inscriptions are completely destroyed or in a different phase of erasure, and sometimes during restoration, their original appearance is also disturbed. The collection of the Church Museum is no exception. And also the icon collection contains works with inscriptions in different languages. Of course, Church Slavonic and Greek predominate, but there are icons with inscriptions in Romanian, Russian, Georgian, Arabic, Ottoman, Turkish language as well. For instance, you can see here an icon with intentionally deleted inscription, and you can see here only the year of the creation of the icon, 1856. This is just a small example. Here on this slide, I'm showing you the icon types. They can be divided in 4 groups. Type Mother of God or type of Christ. Saints, various saints are depicted usually in the church, you know very well, and iconostasis, fragments, royal doors, prophets and apostles, they're usually depicted in the upper parts of the iconostasis. So I will show you an icon which is a good example of the first type, Mother of God, the Merciful Mother of God of Kikos. This is the inventory number 3061. You can see the inscriptions on the right. He Eleusa to Kiko, on the upper part of the icon, you can see angels. The Mother of God is flanked by the images of Saint John the Forerunner and Saint Haralambos, and the lower part contains an unfolded scroll in which a troparion of the Theotokos is inscribed, followed by the signature of the iconographer. At the very bottom there is a drapery through which the scroll imitates a text placed on a cathedra, from which the troparion itself should be read during the liturgy. In this way, church ritual is recreated in an icon of a private nature, since the presence of Saint John the Forerunner and Saint Harlampius testify that the icon was a special donor commission, and the name of the painter is Christodoulos from Edirne or Adrianopolis, who has works in our country and is obviously not related to later masters from this settlement, working mostly in the Plovdiv region. Let me show you the inscriptions from this icon. It was donated to the museum in 1914, so in the actually the museum was not established officially in this year, but later, about 10 years later, it was officially opened. So you can see details here of this icon and various types of inscriptions. You can see in the upper part Archangel Michael and Gabriel on the right and left side of the head of the Mother of God. You can see here fragments from the Acatist, Virgin Mary. Haire, hoti bastadze iston bastadzunda panda. Rejoice, for you carry the one who holds everything. The other inscription, Haire, hoti hyparchis basileos cathedra. Rejoice, for you're the king's throne. Here there is a scroll. You see a very damaged scroll. It is held by Jesus. No, sorry, it is held by John the Forerunner. In the wilderness, prepare the way for the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Phone boontos ento eremo hetumasatetas ochodus. You can see also that this inscription is not clearly visible, and I had to deal only with one or two words from the text in order to interpret the whole inscription. Here you can see this is a common text. Pneuma curio epeme hu heineken echrisen me. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, therefore he anointed me. This is from the Gospel of Luke. So I'm sure you know this text very well, but you can see the various types of fonts used by the iconographer, which is also very interesting for interpretation. And this is a rare troparion of Theotokos. You can see also the signature of the iconographer. Let me show you the inscription, the diplomatic text and the interpretive text. Usually on paper, in such huge catalogs, there is not enough place to publish both of these texts. You're forced to choose either the diplomatic or the interpretive text, and usually I prefer the diplomatic text in these instances. So you can see the translation here. I will not read it in Greek. We boast of you, Mother of God, and you're our intercessor before God. Stretch out your invincible hand and crush our enemies, and send help to your servants from the holy. Yeah, usually when the inscriptions are not taken from the Gospels or the Bible, they're difficult to find in the vast pool of Byzantine literature. So this is the signature of the iconographer, and by the hand of Christodoulos from Odrin in the year 1811. Diacheiros Christodoulou Adrionopolitou. Because I see that time is just going very quickly, I will show you the next icon. This is another rare type of icon. It is also a private commission. This is Saint Christopher, usually depicted as a dog-headed warrior on the right side, carrying the Christ child on his shoulders, which combines Western and Eastern legend. The saint is known not only as a protector of travelers, but also as a first aid in contagious and incurable diseases and even toothache. In combination with Saint Caralampius, who in the Orthodox tradition is an established guardian against diseases and especially from plague. The apotropaic function of this icon is conferred both ways by Saint Caralampius and Saint Christopher. Thus, it is particularly suitable as a combination not only for a person who carries this name, but also for the journey he's about to undertake. This icon is in a small size, and this size allows it to be carried on the road, and its personal nature explains the writing of the inscription on the back of the icon. You can see on the right side the inscription on the back, which was also very difficult to decipher. Special types of photography are used here in this case. So you can see here, κτέμα του Πανοσιωτάτο πρωτοσυγγέλου Παπάκυρ Χριστοφόρο απελτόντος eis το ταξίδιον tes Kypru. And the year is 1755, owned by the protosyngel Mr. Christopher, who set out on a fundraising trip to Cyprus. I have to conclude here that usually I already told you, but such huge catalogs, they don't allow a good visualization models and pictures. So this picture is not in the catalog. And even this presentation here allows for better visualization of the results from such a project. So nowadays in 21st century, we can deal with epigraphy data much more flexible online than on paper. Now I will just briefly talk about the Orosis project, which is similar to Telemon project. So I'm sure you're well acquainted with the types of methods represented here for visualization. I mean, because in an online digital corpus, you can apply much more pictures, you can apply much more criteria, you can apply other methods which are not possible on paper. So I will briefly tell you about this project. First of all, I have to say that nowadays post-Byzantine inscriptions are usually edited and published by art historians. So this project was attempts to overcome some methodological problems caused by unclear criteria applied by art historians, and we tried together with Mitko to apply more rigorous application of editorial interventions, specific apparatus indices, which are, some of them are also used by traditional epigraphy, but I have to say that we invented much more appropriate measures. So this project is based now on a book that I wrote as my dissertation thesis in 2017, and it will begin with 200 inscriptions. We have encoded about 20 inscriptions for now, and we hope to continue as well in the future. But you know, this is a difficult job. So I think that this is one of the first project to digital presentation of post-Byzantine, Balkan post-Byzantine heritage. And I hope that other colleagues from other Balkan countries can contribute to this project. One of the main, I think, inventions of this project is the opportunity to show connections with many types of sources, because inscriptions are based on sources in the Byzantine literature. And here you can see, for instance, painters' manuals. um, three types of pictures are here. The Hymenaea of Titus Zugraf, 2 pages are from this famous painter manual, which is kept in Sofia, and the first publication of the painter's manual of one Greek monk, Dionysius of Furna. But these manuals, they contain inscriptions that are usually used in the church or in the icon, but they are only one stepping point. In order to decipher the inscriptions, you have to deal with hymnography, patristic and ascetic literature, hagiography, etc., etc. So there are many connections that could be done here, and many different indices could be written. Index of registers, which means index of place of the inscription in the church. Index locorum, index of editions, index of scenes and characters, index of words, of course, and here you can make even links in internet to various sources, which is very interesting, I think, for the reader. And this is the future, I hope. And I clearly see the traditional paper publication is limited. So finally, I'm trying to show you here that digital epigraphy in the field of post-Byzantine inscriptions attempts to really overcome methodological problems, and we come to a more holistic and up-to-date approach, consisting in considering the inscriptions not only by themselves or as a part of one single monument, but as a part of large data sets, which allows broadband comparison. So this allows comparison both geographically, chronologically, and these comparisons can be made by the means of visual and paleographic features, by means of linguistic features, by means of content features. And usually, usually the editor in a traditional paper method, let's say, has to decide what to include and what to forego and not to include. And in online, you're not limited. So there are increasingly suitable visualization models which can be applied. And by this, I will end my presentation. I hope that it was interesting to you. I'll try to make it simple and clear and not go into terminological details. Thank you very much. If you have questions, I will gladly answer. Unfortunately, I don't hear if you have questions or.
Yeah. Hello. So it's nice to be here for the second time. Unfortunately, I was unable to accompany you yesterday to Köln. I really hope that you had a nice time there. So my name is Tančiski Milan. I'm the co-founder of the Center for Social Innovations Blink 4221. It's social tech organization from Macedonia, established in 2011, and it's an organization that tries to identify ways how technology can be used for social good. Within the organization, it's a small team of people that works full-time, but we, as part of our work, we have a vast network of partners from the technological sector, from the creative sector and cultural sector, of course, that helps us develop a variety of projects. The topic that I wanted to speak today is building audience or audience development in culture. I think that one of the challenges that cultural institutions face is the need to compete with more commercial and more entertaining sectors in attracting new audiences. And I think that technology combined with the storytelling capacity of history and cultural heritage has enormous capacity to bring new people on cultural and heritage in institutions. The organization is based around three main fields of work or visions. I will just go briefly, and then I will be more focused on the presenting projects that are more related to what you are doing here. So we work in three areas. The first is empowerment of citizens and public institutions. The idea is how we can bridge the gap between the needs of the citizens and the institutions. The second is education. We work in identifying new ways on how to engage students and create modern learning environments. And the third is enhancing cultural accessibility, which is focused on bringing or using technology to create new experiences in domain of culture. So we work more or less all around Europe with partners from all these countries. We combine partners that have domain knowledge, in this particular case in culture, and mixing them with partners that are more tech oriented in building and developing different tools. So this is not important. So I will just go briefly through a couple of projects that have nothing to do with culture, but maybe more as inspirations of how technology can be utilized. So we have just completed. This is not deployed yet. It's the first software that uses AI to identify corruption in public procurements. Living in the Balkans, corruption or rule of law is a huge problem. And the idea was how we can utilize technology in preventing corruption before it happens. So what is the important is that this software uses a huge data as a source to identify potential of corruption, and also provides comparisons between the public procurement law and particular public procurements that are produced by the municipalities. And through natural language processing, identifies areas of corruptions within public procurements before they are published. So in that manner, it helps municipalities, which are pilot users of the software, to identify possible possibilities for fraud before they publish this. Macedonia and Albania. It provides two-way communication between the citizens and the municipalities. It also provides opportunities to digitalize part of the public local services, enrollment in children in kindergartens, news notifications to citizens regarding topics interesting for them in the municipality, and so on and so on. This is a mobile app that we have trade union, Macedonia, Serbia, Montenegro, and Moldavia. It's a very simple app that allows workers to report to the unions if they think that their rights are violated. In the domain of education, maybe this could be useful. Virtual reality applications in this one specifically is for electrotechnical schools, and this one is for adult learners in crane operators. So the idea was to create this total virtual environment in which students can practice safely quite a dangerous task. So the focus of today's presentation is some of the projects that are more technological driven in the domain of culture. Not all projects within here are specifically targeting culture or cultural heritage, but just as maybe more as a food for thought later on about the possibilities how we can utilize technology. So this is one of the first projects that we developed. It's a virtual reality experience for the cultural site Stobi. It's called Gladiators Are Back in Stobi. We're working very closely with Stobi on developing this kind of tools. So the idea was how we can bring new people or visitors in Stobi that are not predominantly interested in culture, but mainly in technology. So how we can use technology to bridge that gap between don't have any interest in archaeological remains, but using the site to create some kind of experience. So this is a 9-minute VR, basically animation in which we reconstructed the whole archaeological Roman time theater, and we basically put the visitor as part of the audience in a gladiator ceremony. So the actual fight is very brief, so there is no bloodshed in the VR because it's also intended for children. But the idea was to present how those gladiator ceremony took place. What was the role of the people on the stage? What was the social segregation of the audience in the theater? So the idea was that someone to came, pay maybe extra ticket, provide additional resource for Stoby, and enjoy the simulation. So we have this promo video that maybe I can show. Where was it? Yes, so we used actors to narrate the experience. A lot of oh
The next video is starting.
yeah.
This is why.
Yeah, just turn it off. Yes. So let's go to the. So this is one of the ways how we can engage audience, how we can bring predominantly more young people interested in technology in cultural heritage sites. This is a mobile app produced for Stoby in Macedonia, Viminacium in Serbia, and Emona in Slovenia. One of the problems of these heritage sites, they all are different. I hope you know it from what kind of terrain they occupy. One of the problems that these sites face is basically lack of tour guides within the sites that can be engaged in providing more educational experience for the visitors. So the Immersium app is envisioned as a self-guiding mobile app for the visitors. So the idea is that you come to Stoby or Viminacium, download the app, and it's a gamified experience that takes you through the site. So it leads you to a different quests during that visit of the archaeological site. I think it lengths it's like a 45 minutes experience. You can, I don't know, resolve puzzles, answer questions, have some augmented reality experience, and so on. And the idea is that it occupies like 55 minutes of your time at archaeological sites. It doesn't require expert that will present the things that you see. And what important idea within this project was not to let the visitors watching their phones all the time, but have interaction with what they see on their phones and what they see in real time. So these are the apps. Each mobile app has different story, which is originate from the specific story in all of these sites. This is also part of that project, but we can just present it as a separate project idea. So in order to engage the viewpoint of the potential visitors of Stoby, we created this hackathon on which we brought ordinary students, people from the creative community, and of course, people from the heritage sites. So the idea was through a methodological development of immersive experiences to bring their perspective of how these kind of experiences should look like. And also, as part of that project, we organized this heritage field school in which we brought like 10 to 15 people from a different professional area that most of them were not connected to archaeology at all. So we brought them in Stoby, in Viminacium, and Emona for 7 days to work on building new storytelling ideas, new narratives, new ideas how to engage technology in what these sites are doing. We have just now expanded this program a little bit, rebranded it like a digital heritage hub. Also, it will be implemented in Stobi and Viminacium this September. I think that yesterday finished the selection process. I mean, the people applied. We have around almost 200 people that are interested to join 7-day experience in this site. And which is interesting, more of them have nothing to do with archaeology. So the idea is how we can, make this topic that you're talking here more interesting for the general audience. And you will be surprised that a lot of people that at first have nothing to do with this area have a huge interest to combine or to use this story as part of what they're doing in their professional life. This has nothing to do with cultural heritage, but I think it's an interesting example of how can technology be used in promoting the more mainstream cultural experiences. In this particular case, the European films. So European films have to compete with Hollywood films, and the idea was through a platform to create experience for the audience to make them watch European films more. So the idea is that they watch 10 movies in 10 weeks period, upload the movies that they watch. It have to be on a legal platform, so they could watch it on a TV or Netflix or a film festival or a cinema. Different experiences provide different points, and the persons with the most points, we take them to visit the 3 main European film festivals, Cannes, Venice, and Berlin. We also have a regional component in which only Macedonia, Serbia, Slovenia, Bosnia, and Montenegro participate. It's for visiting a local festival in the Balkans. As part of these experiences, we organize, for example, in Ohrid, we organize a screening of a movie on a boat while you have basically exploring the Ohrid Lake, and you watch a movie, and we have this event like drink wine, watch movie, and enjoying the Ohrid Lake. So the idea is that we create experiences for people to be more interested in topics that maybe are not their primary sets of interest. It's a project that is implemented in, I think, 12 countries around Europe: Macedonia, Serbia, Montenegro, Bosnia are partners from the Balkans. This is something that we just started. It's the idea how we can use AI to engage visitors in museums. So the idea is to create this chat bot, let's say, that will provide a conversation between visitors and statues and portraits of historic persons. So the project will be implemented, will be piloted in the museum in Ljubljana, in Riga, Latvia, and in Poti, Georgia. This is something that maybe could be useful because what history and culture have, that is data. So the idea is how we can utilize data in creating stories. The idea with this particular project is to provide opportunities to museums to create stories for, it doesn't have to be a famous historic character, maybe some local poet that lived in some particular time, or some historic character presented through a portrait, and basically engage in a discussion with that particular historic figure. It's a first-person dialogue, so you actually talk with the particular character. The challenge here is to get to the right data. The problems with these AI models, that they have this problem of hallucination, and they can easily provide answer which is not correct. So we are trying to identify how we can minimize those potential problems. But this is something that is, I see it very connected to what you're presenting here. So you have encryptions on stones that some of them have some background story that maybe can be utilized in expanding that story through a different medium. We talked with Professor Klaus the first day when we met about presenting the life of the people that actually worked on those stones and on those signs. So as I said, this is at a very early stage of development. This is something quite also new, just finished. It's a 3D reconstruction of the building with arches in Stobi. It's a project implemented in cooperation with the archaeological faculty in Athens, Greece. So this is one of the biggest buildings at the archaeological site. They don't have data about the particular function it had. It's possible it was a library or some other facility. So what we did is basically first 2D reconstructed and then 3D reconstructed the whole building. We used the materials that Stobi has in order to present this interior of the building. The good thing is that this particular 3D piece can now be easily used, for example, for a virtual reality application. So we can add different content within this building and create something totally new. So we also did for Stobi an audio guide, which is like retro technology, but it's quite useful for the visitor. So it doesn't have to be a high-tech solution. It could be a QR code that you scan and provide some data and so on. But there are possibilities. Yes, that's all I think. There are possibilities how we can engage technology in variety of cases to present different stories. Because even for me that is more or less engaged in culture, I really see a very conservative aspect of how cultural institutions are operating. And I really think that partnership between a creative sector and a cultural sector really can build or create really interesting products or experiences for the citizens. I think at the end of the day, that is the main relevance of all these cultural institutions, maybe to empower, engage, inform the public about the history and what it brings. So thanks a lot. If there are any questions, we can talk now or maybe later in the
Now it's time for the discussion.
Okay.
Thank you for the interesting presentation, Milan. Now you can stay here for some questions, and I'm also inviting the audience for questions about all the presenters of this morning, including Daniela, Nikolai, Cvetan, who is online, and I don't know, the floor is yours. Elena. Oops.
Okay, thank you. Well, I actually have two questions. The one is for Milan and the one is for Daniela and maybe Nikolai. So maybe I should start first with Milan. My question is, you mentioned that when you create these chatbots, you know, so that the audience will be able to discuss with a historical person, that these AI agents have tendency to hallucinate. Is this the case even if you fit the bot with a limited and very well checked information? Does this happen as well? That's my first question.
Yes. So, as I said, we are a very, very early stage of, we haven't started with the development of the software. We are in a process when we do assessment with our partners from the cultural institution in what particular characters should be selected to be digitalized or turned into AI person. Absolutely. So the idea is that we use specific materials that the institution have to feed the system with knowledge that is historically proven. But on the other side, we also like to provide opportunity for the system to use internet-generated knowledge, but we'll see how that will happen, filtered through some levels of verification, so that we lower the barriers of hallucination. But the main idea is that we create a platform in which museums will be able to upload documents and train the models themselves, but also use internet available documents as an add value to the ones that they have.
Okay, thank you. So my question is about the issue of the marriage and having children as a universal value, which we saw examples that Nikolai presented to us, and also Daniela tackled that topic. So my question would go in the opposite direction. Are there any epigraphic evidence or whatever literary evidence which would point to the contrary? I mean, how was a Roman society or ancient society dealing with the situation when, let's say, the couple would not have marriage, children, or if someone didn't want to get married for any reason?
Okay.
Okay, I should answer this question. Regarding Augustan legislation, there are praemia, rewards, with which he was promoting childbearing and family values generally. But there were also punishments for the ones that didn't have children or weren't married. They paid higher taxes. They were limited in inheritance law, so they couldn't inherit, or they were limited in distributing their inheritance. That was the punishment. So these were the ways with which Augustan legislation dealt with this topic. I hope I answered your question. So this is evidence from the legal literature. Yeah.
Yes, I could add to that. Inscriptions, especially verse inscriptions, always present the lack of marriage of children as a misfortune and something which, if the deceased person lived for more time, he or she could have changed this situation.
Okay. If I may add one point to this topic, perhaps some small allusion that childbearing was not the only raison d'etre of a woman's life can be detected in the gradual presentation of married life and love between the couple as a value in itself. So gradually, Plutarch, for example, marital life is presented as something good, not necessarily for producing children, but for the love between the man and a woman. That was more or less a new concept. Marriage was not a sentimental bond earlier, and it gradually becomes so in the first centuries AD. That's my view.
Okay, anybody? I have only to add a sad Aesop's story for you. I told you, we have an inscription from Ephesus, from the Austrian colleagues, where the text is, I'm in love with a girl whose number is 226, or something like this. And we never will know what's her real name.
Were such inscriptions meant to be recognized, maybe, of the citizens of the given place? Maybe the contemporaries knew who they dealt with?
Sorry, I wasn't able to attend the first session, so I didn't hear what might have been spoken. But you would have to consider, take into consideration all the early Christians who, of course, bring the aspect, the value of celibacy to a whole new level. So I don't know if this was touched upon in the presentation, but I think that would go in the direction of the questions. That I think that's part of a radical transformation, the new value that's sort of introduced by the early Christian, who take a very radical view of marriage and celibacy. And so you would have a plethora of inscriptions sort of praising the Parthenoi or the Eo Parthenoi, the virgins into eternity or forever, permanent virgins. And for those who did not, of course, bear children, I think of an inscription, I think it's from Edessa maybe Edessa or Veroia, I can't remember exactly. But this abbess who had an inscription, it's an epitaph set up by the daughters of the abbess. Well, of course, they're the spiritual daughters. So there's this filial piety or sense of filial piety passes on through from the spiritual heads to the spiritual children. And I think that's an interesting development. So I'm not sure that's any earlier than sort of the Christian transformation in antiquity.
Okay, somebody else to ask something or add something?
I have a question for Mr. Trenczewski. Is there any statistical data about the outcomes, about the results, effects of the using of, for example, the game about gladiators? That's the question.
As I mentioned, all these projects are implemented in partnership with cultural institutions. So the idea of that partnership is a transfer of ownership. So that means that we build the digital tools, but they are on the disposal of the cultural institutions to use them. So in this particular case, except helping in promotion of the gladiators battle, it's up to the STOBI to find a way to integrate it in it as part of their touristic promotion. I don't have the particular data, but when we launched the application, there was huge interest. We had 3 open sessions and they were all sold out for about a couple of hours. So that's also one of the challenges that we face when working with cultural institution is that concept of ownership. Most of these projects are financed through EU schemes or programs. And the challenge to the cultural institutions is how they can sustain those tools. So one of the ideas is that they sell additional tickets and use that money to maybe update. For example, the Gladiators was done 4 years ago. The technology has now so advanced forward that it could really use, for example, some update and redesign. But part of the things that cultural institutions have to take, and not just cultural, general public institutions have to take more seriously is how to integrate these tools as part of their promotional toolbox. So the possibilities are enormous. For example, I didn't mention a different project that we're implementing in Ljubljana. It's called Face Swap. So the idea is that you go to a portrait, you take a picture, and you basically on your phone receive your own face on that particular portrait. So you can print that, and museums could charge some financial costs for those kind of services. But as I said, they need to identify a way how these tools can be used more frequently. There is, unfortunately, as I said, there is most of those institutions are quite conservative in what their role is. So when you go to Stobi, there are one or two guides that are actually employed to take you through the Stobi, but most of the people that work there don't see themselves as tourist guides or someone that should convey them the stories of Stobi. So there is also a thing of prioritizing what you actually want to accomplish as an institution.
Okay, anybody?
I have a question for Milan. Also, you said that there was a wide interest in these applications, right? Have you considered the age of the participants interested in this? Because I'm thinking myself as a high school teacher, can we implement this into the curriculum?
Absolutely, excellent idea. So as I said, there are limits of, in particular case, virtual reality. One of the problems with virtual reality is that not everyone reacts the same on the headset. So there are people that have physical nauseousness, that's the word, when using this app, because it's basically connected with your sense of balance. So there were cases where people had to pull off the headset because it was too much for them. Regarding the age group, I think that 7+ can be a user of this particular application, or in general virtual reality applications.
That's great.
Okay. Anybody else? If not, nay. Are there? Yeah, but I don't know if I can. Zoom meeting. Yeah, I don't think there are in the Zoom chat any questions, but if there are. No, I don't think so. So maybe thanks to all the presenters today. Thanks to the audience. And now we have, yeah, maybe you should add what's next. But I feel there's an excursion to Skopje, a small break, and some guided tour of the museum.
Explain it now. So we will go according to the program in Skopje now, and because the bus will be waiting for us near to the An, but upper. The bus will leave exactly at 13 o'clock. So we have to, whatever we do, we have to be close and be there on time. So I would like to ask you to be here, let's say 10 minutes before 1 o'clock. Okay? And we'll go together. well, I cannot predict exactly how long, but maybe 1 hour, hour and a half, and then we'll return. We'll leave you a time to have a